We never know where life will lead us or what may hinder us along the way. But while every day can feel like one big question mark, it doesn't have to. With the right insights, strategies, and solutions from Western and Southern Financial Group, together we can look ahead to leave the unknown behind.
Welcome into Tailgate. Austin Gill here with Mike Renner in sunny Cincinnati, ready to rip it up on this bonus mailbag edition. How do you get on the mailbag? How do you get your question on the mailbag? Go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, 5 stars, rate, review, and subscribe, and we will get to it. And
I'm committing 5 stars though. That's good.
It doesn't have to be honest.
If you want to give us 4, give us less. By all means,
it's fine. We'll be upset about it, sure. Yeah. But if you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, leave your question in that review. Thursday, March 24th through day 1 of the draft, we are answering every single question. Every single question. So your question will be on the show. We might have to do two mailbags a week. We were doing that a lot last year, but we're going to commit to it. I'm excited to do it. We do it for the listeners. We do it for you Master Gators. So let's get into this after it's Christmas morning. It's Christmas morning on Tailgate / if you've been listening for a long time, 2-for-1 drafts calendar year. Maurice Jones-Drew dropped his mock draft. The infamous Maurice Jones-Drew. I've never met Mojo. He was at Prime in Indianapolis at one point. I almost went up to him and talked to him, but I didn't. He's an NFL.com analyst, and every year, this is his first mock draft, 1.0 for Maurice Jones-Drew. He drops some wild takes. And I love it. It's great for content. I applaud his efforts. Starting with number 1 overall. He has Trayvon Walker going number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars, so much that the DraftKings moved Trayvon Walker's odds to go number 1 overall from like plus 3,500 to plus 600 this morning. Aiden Hutchinson yesterday was minus 400. Now he's minus 300 to go first overall. He's moving books. Mojo is moving books. Trayvon Walker, the Georgia edge defender, going number 1 overall in Maurice Jones-Drew's mock.
My favorite part of this is sometimes the write-ups that he has for these, and I'm not sure, I can't speak to whether he even does these write-ups or not, having talked with former editor here at PFF, Jeff Dooley, who used to write mocks for some of the ESPN guys. It wasn't always the ESPN guys even saying any of the stuff that was actually on there. I'll just say that. So
I'd be so scared to do that. Like, have people ghostwrite for you. It's like, that's like your brand. Like, he's writing, like, now, like, okay.
But it's like, I would also, if I'm at that level, do I care?
Probably not.
Maybe not.
I mean,
yeah. But my favorite part of the write-up for Trayvon Walker is he says, Walker is coming off a great combine performance that has the scouting community buzzing. According to my colleague, Bucky Brooks, he can't even be bothered to look up his combine numbers to see if they're actually good.
Well, he doesn't know that the scouting community is buzzing.
Okay, maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is. He doesn't know. I think Bucky Brooks is saying the scouting community
when a guy has
buzzing.
An all-time combine, the scouting community may have some buzz over that fella.
It's buzzing. Some of the picks after that are pretty chalky. I don't want to highlight every single pick in his mock draft. He does have,
I mean, his mocks, we talk about him because they're outlandish.
Yeah.
And now, from talent, he's obviously putting his massive talent evaluation spin on this, or maybe not even just talent evaluation, people he knows spin on this. Like
his opinion of the players for whatever reason.
For whatever reason. That's a better way to say it. His opinion of the players, he puts a massive spin on it. So and he calls it a forecasting, saying what he thinks teams will do. And that's why we talk about it, because these are never this is not what the teams are actually going to do, as we've seen from his mocks in the past.
Now, what was the previous one? He had Javon Holland going top 10.
Yeah, Javon Holland going top 10.
Who's an Oakland guy, which I respect.
He had last year he had Najee Harris number 6.
Yeah, he had
and he had 4 running backs in the first round.
Yeah, it's incredible. He does have a running back going in this first round. He also has Kenny Pickett going 6 to the Carolina Panthers, Malik Willis going 9 to the Seattle Seahawks, which would be impressive for Seattle if Malik Willis does fall that far. He has Ike Kwonu falling all the way to 11, which I think with him trying to fit quarterbacks inside the top 10, he also had Jermaine Johnson going inside the top 10. Obviously, someone has to fall, but that would be insane if Ike Ekwonu falls that far after being right now. He's the favorite to be the first offensive tackle off the board, according to DraftKings Sportsbook. Some other chalky picks after that. I did find it funny that the Houston Texans with Andrew Booth Jr., the Clemson cornerback, for the reasons that are the Texans continue to add to Lovie Smith's defense with a cornerback boasting good ball skills to play opposite of newly added Desmond King. Desmond King played for the Texans last year and plays in the slot. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. The information is interesting. He does have the Baltimore Ravens grabbing Garrett Wilson, which I don't know if Garrett Wilson falls that far, but I kind of like that fit. I'm big on Mojo on that fit. Let's get Garrett Wilson to Baltimore. After that, again, a lot of chalk. Jordan Davis to the Chargers. I like his new, Charles Cross, the offensive tackle from Mississippi State, going to the Saints at 18. I think that's more and more likely now that Teron Armstead's obviously a Miami Dolphin. Though he does have Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State, going 25 to the Buffalo Bills. I would not like to see that for the Buffalo Bills, but there has been some smoke that there could be a running back at the back end of the first round. That is one of the spots where it could make sense. Then the back end of the draft is where he gets savvy. Kansas City Chiefs go Christian Watson, the North Dakota State wide receiver. That I think a lot of people are seeing as this top 50 player now after what was an absurd combine, but 29 of the Kansas City Chiefs, that's a bit rich. Obviously hinting at that Tyreek Hill's now in South Beach and bringing in some speed. Christian Watson obviously has that 4.36 40-yard dash at the combine. Roger McCreary going in the first round, which I have not seen in months, ever since really the arm length came out, and he is not even a top 50 player on NFL.com's big board, Daniel Jeremiah's big board. Then the Bengals getting Jamari Salyer, who at this point would be either a swing tackle or playing ahead of Jackson Carman with all they add along the offensive line. That feels surprising. I also haven't seen Jamari Salyer, the Georgia offensive tackle, mocked in the first round yet. And then he puts Cali guy at 32 for the Detroit Lions. He's got Carson Strong going to the Detroit Lions at 32. No Desmond Ridder in this first round. No Sam Howell in this first round. Instead, the third quarterback off the board is actually Carson Strong going to the Detroit Lions. A wild mock draft from our guy, Mojo.
So Carson Strong is this year's version of Javon Holland. I believe he has a pre-existing relationship with Carson Strong on August 3rd, 2019. So this is before Carson Strong was even, I believe, the starter for Nevada. He tweeted, "At Carson Strong, keep working, bro. You are special." So I think there may be some, maybe a little bias in that inclusion of Carson Strong in the first round. I think that one may be a little. I'm not going to go bet Carson Strong under prop right now.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, he's moving markets with the Trayvon Walker decision. He's moving markets. Maybe he knows something. I don't know. Mojo's more connected than we are. That guy had more people around him at Prime than we did in Indianapolis.
That's true. This is true.
He did. All right. Off of the Maurice Jones-Drew mock, anything else on the Catch and Early Buzz? I get my tattoo today. I get my chain today. Nothing else really to highlight. I'm going into the weekend not looking to get all that aggressive. I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to work. I feel like last weekend we had first weekend of March Madness, George Chahuri's birthday, who is our boss here at PFF, celebrated pretty hard, but I think I'm going to go into the weekend pretty lax. What do you got planned on the weekend here?
I have a golf match on Saturday morning. So
you excited for it?
I'm excited for that, yeah.
Who are you playing with, Brady?
No, just a bunch of people in my club.
All right. Off the Catch and Early Buzz and into the questions. Before I do, this podcast is sponsored by Manscaped. I'm not asking for a round of applause. I'm not asking for a round of applause, but I am excited to announce Manscaped to launch their Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's for your not-so-private parts. I'm talking about a leveled-up hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. This is an all-in-one skin and hair kit for the everyday man. It covers you from head to toe. Literally, Manscaped is trusted below the waist. Now trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off, plus free shipping with the code PFF. Hop in the shower and scrub-a-dub-dub that body wash. That body with the Manscaped body wash. Someone did comment on the YouTube saying if Steve Palzolo or Austin Gale tell me to scrub a dub in the shower again, I'm going to kill myself. So don't do that, but do dub that scrub. Lather up your hair with the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner to keep your noggin what?
Noggin.
Dry off and spray on the hydrating body moisturizer to reinvigorate dry skin. I'm going to pause there. Dry off and spray on the hydrating body moisturizer? What is that? Is that like a lotion? Spray on, though.
Body moisturizer. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Okay, get in there. Put on the Manscaped deodorant for obvious reasons.
I don't use moisturizer actually, I don't have like skincare routine. I don't wash I don't believe in putting things on my face.
Don't say you don't believe in it. You just don't. You're just lazy.
No, I mean, like my face. If I put shit on my face, I get acne and I don't like it.
So is there? This is a good conversation actually.
I just use water.
Is there? I think your face can maybe grow a dependency on being clean. I don't know. Maybe I'm on with you. Where like if you're like consistently cleaning it, if you stop, it can get kind of fucked.
Yeah,
you're like
the pH
you also
balance.
don't like wash your hair every day, right?
No, yeah, I don't believe in shampoo either.
we need to get. You don't believe in nail clippers. You don't believe in shampoo. You don't believe in washing your face. What do you believe in? What do you use in the shower?
I use body wash on my body.
That's it.
Do that. That's it.
Feet? Do you wash your feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my body. But then that's it. And I'd put on deodorant.
How often do you shampoo? Never?
Never.
Wait, so your hair is like that and it's not shampooed?
No, not shampooed.
Wow. That's crazy. If
I didn't it just like,
yeah, it does. But but that's what I'm saying. If I don't shampoo for like a day, my hair gets greasy as fuck.
Yeah.
But like, I bet if I stop shampooing for a while,
then
it would adjust. Yeah. Maybe that's what your face has done with it. You're literally just smearing mud on it every night.
But I mean, like, if I sweat, I take a shower immediately. I know if like I'm dirty, I'm not going days without it. But
interesting.
I don't believe in
with some of the stories that you have on the weekends. The fact that you don't wash your face is kind of insane. All right, back to the man. Pop the man. Pop that Manscaped lip balm on. Do you do lip balm? You use chapstick?
Yeah.
You also chew gum, right? You brush your teeth, don't you?
I brush my teeth.
Okay. Getting dressed after is optional. Wear one great scent all day long. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code PFF at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code PFF at manscaped.com. The power of traction is now in a bottle. What is next for Manscaped? Because they're obviously trying to cover you from head to toe.
Okay.
Toothpaste is probably...
they'll probably get into the deodorant game.
Oh, yeah. Why don't they have a
obvious
deodorant?
Next
they have body spray.
Like a stick. It's probably, you're going to see Manscaped sticks here soon enough.
They probably already have that. There's no way they don't already have that.
Good. I'm trying to think what else.
Toothpaste?
Probably going to get into the face care, facial.
Hair gel?
Could be. Full
First question.
Johnson.
First question on the Apple Podcast here from Vishnu Srinvas. Who are the best players that are the least fun to watch at each position? I love it.
Difficult. This was a difficult exercise to go through, I'll say. Offense was far easier than defense because I feel like by definition, if you're good on defense, you have to be somewhat fun to like. You have to be making plays. Like you have to do something. So I'll start quarterback. I think this one's easy. This one was the easiest one. It's Kirk Cousins. And that one, he literally made the least fun to watch is not fun to watch list in the fall. So that one was easy. And I try to keep it to like very good players at their respective positions.
Yeah.
Like inside the top. So quarterback, top 10, other positions, top 15 to 20. Like I wasn't just going to add any old guy who starts in the NFL. Running back, I said Jonathan Taylor. This might get some backlash.
Oh, it's going to.
I
remember when we said Mercedes Lewis wasn't fun to watch, and you don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to get some backlash when you say he's not fun to watch?
He just has a very no nonsense running style. Is not when he breaks tackles. It's not like Derrick Henry breaking tackles for a power back where it's like damn, like, or even AJ Dillon breaking tackles for a power back. Whereas he then doesn't like shake guys a ton. I debated him or Nick Chubb. As I'll say who are the two guys who I was thinking of. But Nick Chubb has like a unique gait to him that I think is a little more fun to watch as a runner. But both of them are kind of I just go back to the no nonsense running style. It's just they're very good at it. They know they're physically dominant. So
I like it. I think I'm with it. Now, will the people be happy about it? No.
Wide receiver, I said Mike Evans. Wide receiver is tough though. Again, like if you're good, almost by definition, you're fun to watch. But Mike Evans versus Deebo Samuel, which of those guys am I rather going to watch? Versus Cooper Kupp versus Devontae Adams versus like the elite receivers in the NFL? Mike Evans just kind of...
Pretty much all the Raiders receivers.
Okay. Tight end, Zach Ertz.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's
perfect. That's
like,
money.
He wins by pushing off at 5 yards every time. And it's...
He's the Jason Witten of our era.
He is. There you go. Interior offensive line, Zach Martin.
Consistent.
He's just boring.
Grades well. Just boring.
Boringly good. And offensive tackle, Rob Havenstein. Probably the least athletic offensive tackle that's still good in the NFL.
Love it.
Just gets
former Wisco Badger.
Yeah.
Quinnen Williams?
Okay, so that's what I started to struggle once I went to defensive line. And now I could have just like added some two-gapper, but Quinnen Williams to me is not fun to watch because I saw him in college at Alabama, and that's what I keep expecting.
Yeah.
And so it's not fun to watch him not be the guy I thought he was going to be. Still a good player, but Quinnen Williams makes it not fun to watch this. Edge defender, I went Jadeveon Clowney. And that might, again, for the same reason of why isn't he better?
Yeah.
Freak athlete, just like why isn't he better?
I think of another edge that might be like good, really good, but not necessarily fun. I mean, Cameron Hayward.
Cam Jordan was my other option.
Cameron Jordan's a good one.
He just plays consistent power football. Linebacker Bobby Wagner. What's the last Bobby Wagner highlight you remember?
I don't. He hasn't been grading well lately.
Well, he didn't grade well last year, and he is kind of on the downslide.
So
but doesn't miss tackles, doesn't get out of control. It's just solid. Cornerback AJ Terrell. Not a lot of ball production, not a lot of picks, but does get targeted.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
And then safety Marcus Williams, Saints safety. When he played for the Saints. Now he might be more exciting this year, but he was just fucking sitting in single high a ton. That's like what he did for them mostly. Any guy that sits single high safety is going to be a boring watch. Or not as fun to watch as others. So
appreciate the question, Vishnu Servas.
It's not nearly as fun to answer as the fun to watch list.
Of course. Gator Vishnu, I should say. This next one's from Gator Nick. Thoughts on Golden Domer Kevin Austin Jr. Kevin Austin is the Notre Dame wide receiver, who I'm obviously well aware of. Caught 48 balls and 82 targets this past year. Had an insane combine at 6'2", 200, 4.43 40-yard dash, 39-inch vertical jump, over 130 inches on the broad, 6'7" 3-cone, 4.15 short shuttle. It was legit combine from him. Just doesn't have the production. Your thoughts on Kevin Austin Jr.?
He reminded me, going back and watching his tape, it just reminds me a lot of going back and watching Miles Boykin's tape.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
nice guy.
I don't see it. I don't know where that came from. Notre Dame strength and conditioning program. That's where it came from. Go Irish. But no, he just doesn't have that suddenness on tape whatsoever. And now maybe the thing is he was listed at 215 in Notre Dame, shows up at combine 200. Maybe he's a different type of wide receiver after losing that weight. Maybe he was always 200 and they pumped him up by listing him at 215. I don't know. I don't have any inside info. I should ask around to get some inside info. But physical at the catch point, but not like physical himself as a route runner. So I think the earliest
almost 33-inch arms, 6'2", 200 with good athletic testing.
I know,
this guy, right? I don't know. There's a chance he goes on day 2.
Like if that was any of the top wide receivers that came in, like if Garrett Wilson came in and had his athletic testing instead, we'd be like top 10 pick. Showed up at that size with his athletic testing. Yeah. That's what.
If he was 6'2", 200 and had this, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
So it's weird watching him on tape and just being like not seeing it whatsoever. So I go trust the tape, but also say that like once you get to rounds 4 or 5, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel at a lot of positions anyway. So he's worth a shot at that point.
Thank you, Gator Nick. This is from Master Gator Jaeger. Is the Broncos defense overrated? Also, Austin needs the DK dangling earrings. Would go hard. I am not getting an earring. I refuse. We've made the jokes about the accessories and stuff. I'm not getting an earring. Oh my gosh, Mike puts it up on the YouTube. Quinn puts it up on the YouTube. Dude. All right, the dangly cross earring. I'm not committing to it yet, but I might do it for charity if we raise a certain amount. I don't know what the amount would be. I would get my ear pierced and wear it on a handful of shows.
DK's got that's like a 90s vibe to it. I feel like that was a big look in the 90s. The dangly
He also has the crosses like on his teeth.
Dude loves Jesus.
Yeah, that's obvious. That's obvious.
Big Jesus fan.
Yeah. Dude loves Jesus.
Broncos defense, though. Yeah, they're probably touch overrated. I would expect them to take a step back. Losing Vic Fangio, you're just not going to be able to replace that level of coaching. Similarly to how I feel about, like the Vikings defense. Mike Zimmer, Vic Fangio, those guys are still elite defensive minds in space. So you're going to not be the same. But they added also, like you added Randy Gregory. You have Patrick Surtain going to year 2. Like there's reason to believe that talent-wise, they've matched, if not surpassed, what they had last season. So I think that could end up evening out. And then also you have the effect of a good offense and how much that can make you look better defensively when you get teams into predictable situations where they have to pass in the second half instead of it being a lot of tight games down the stretch. So I think you could see similar results. But I do agree that I would expect them on the whole to take a touch of a step back.
This is from The Cole. Best and worst case for the Jaguars this season. I think this is Gator Cole. Best and worst case for the Jaguars. Best case, Trevor Lawrence looks good. Doesn't matter. Again, I always say this with quarterbacks on rookie contracts. You need him to look good. Like, he needs to be at least top 20. If not, like, you should be banking on like him being like a top 15 player at his position this upcoming season. Now, did they do everything in their power to do that? No. Like, did they add like legitimate upgrades in certain spots? Probably not. I mean, they paid a lot for Christian Kirk. I don't know how much of an upgrade that is. They paid a lot for Zay Jones. I don't know how much of an upgrade that is. Offensive line, they franchise tag Cam Robinson. TBD on if it's enough to like eliminate excuses for Trevor Lawrence, but you need him to play well. Like, you need him to play well. It doesn't matter what games they do. The worst case scenario is Doug Peterson takes a page out of Urban Meyer's book and is grinding on chicks by week 6, and he gets fired, and then Trevor Lawrence is on to his like third offensive coordinator in like 3 years. And Christian Kirk gets hurt. Say Christian Kirk gets hurt. They're down.
I was going to say, like, injuries along the offensive line is your worst case scenario. Injuries along the offensive line, you have a bottom 3-4 offensive line, which is very feasible. You really, like, so if they sign Brandon Scherf, if he gets hurt, like, that's the guy you're relying on. I think that's your worst case scenario. And then Trevor Lawrence looks like the same he did last year.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is going to be the case. I think best case scenario, coaching staff, night and day difference. Trevor Lawrence, massive step into year 2, massive step in comfortability, raises everyone around him. I mean, look at just expectations for the Bengals a year ago at this time. We talked about the Jaguars being plus 650. Bengals were plus 2,000 to win the North last year. They did not. It's crazy how much a quarterback can change how you feel about a lot of positions on your roster when that guy is playing well. You feel a lot better all of a sudden about your offensive line, about your receiving core, and even like your defense, you feel a lot better. I look at Bengals fans and like a lot of positions defensively that maybe they were worried about. That just, it looks better when you're playing with leads, or you feel better about your defense when you're playing with leads. So I think they could see a defensive turnaround, and I think that's the side of the ball where they have actually made real change to. I said criticized a lot of their moves offensively, but Darius Williams, Fuller runs a Fotokasi, those are actual guys who will impact this year's roster. And then Aiden Hutchinson in the draft, we're expecting, are 3 guys that are raising the floor of a lot of positions. Andre Sisco stepping into a starting role. Tyson Campbell, year 2, after how he played as well as he did down the stretch year 1. I think there's a lot of reason to be excited about a defensive turnaround as well as an offensive turnaround to where, I mean, I think a good year for the Jaguars this year looks something like 8-9, 9-8.
I can get behind that. Now, I'm hoping for Trevor Lawrence's sake, and honestly the NFL's sake, that the supporting cast works and we see like a really good Trevor Lawrence next year, but can't rule out these worst case scenarios. Avid Master Gator on Apple Podcasts has asked, I'm worried about the Bengals' new offensive line will take time. Are you worried about their chemistry? Yes, you have to be. Eric Eager has done a ton of analysis on chemistry along the offensive line and what that can do. It's very difficult for an offensive line with 4 or 5 new starters to gel right out of the gate, and you see limited success. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are a walking example of that last year. You had to move a lot of guys around. It wasn't like really good out of the gate, even though they made obvious upgrades. I think it's not solved, right? The Bengals offensive line isn't solved. Is it improved? Absolutely, but it's not solved. So I think it's important that they have this opportunity to gel, right? And that, you're probably not going to see like the success you're signing them to be probably until like week 6, week 8.
Yeah, I think what I'd be just a touch more worried about than the gelling is that you kind of, and the gelling part, I mean, look what they're tossing out down the stretch. They're tossing out backups. They were subbing mid-game at right guard. They were doing rotations like
Hakeem Adeniji and Isaiah Prince on the right side.
And Adeniji was swapping out series with Carmen at games during the end of the year.
True.
So like
the chemistry
is going to be better than that, And these are also veterans, guys who are, year 5 plus, where you worry about chemistry with guys in year 1, year 2, guys who haven't played a ton of football. These guys have all played a lot of football at this point to where they've been around the block. They can probably establish rapport a lot faster than, like I said, guys who are coming in as rookie deals. That if you had a lot of rookies like the Dolphins, if you have a lot of guys who are year 1, year 2, year 3 trying to mesh together, I'd be a lot more worried about that. So I'm not too worried about that. Oh, what I said was the point I was worried about was that you have some somewhat unathletic linemen in Alex Kappa and Ted Karras. I'd even maybe throw Jax Carmen in that mix at left guard. trying to run this outside zone scheme that they run so heavily there in Cincinnati that Karras wasn't running a ton of in New England. Kappa wasn't running a ton of in Tampa Bay. I wonder if they look like a new look in terms of the sort of concepts they're leaning on in 2022.
From Ajax 1624, Austin, are you more excited for the Carr Adams connection or Crosby, Chandler, Jones? It has to be Carr Adams, obviously. Carr Adams is going to be sick. We're going to get 1,800 yards receiving for Adams. Probably MVP candidate, Derek Carr. I think in AFC championships, probably the floor is where I lean, and it's going to be a top 3 scoring offense in the NFL. That's kind of the low end expectations I have for them next year.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I will say this about Chandler Jones: he's 32 years old. I think he has a game that's going to age like fine wine. Like I don't think you're worried about this guy. He came out. He had a 4.87 40 when he came out. He's never relied on speed. He's never been that guy. So he loses a step. He's like, so the fuck what?
Yeah.
Still like,
so
bat your hands away.
I do think that pairing is going to be sick. I think it's going to be better than Unique Ngakoue and Max Crosby. Honestly, I think Chandler Jones is a better pass rusher than Unique Ngakoue. This is from Baby JAJ. What prospect are you most conflicted about?
There's 2 that I'll say I probably tied for most conflicted about. One's Jermaine Johnson, the Florida State edge rusher. He can do everything. He just doesn't come close to doing everything consistently. And he's on the older side I believe he's going to be 23 as a rookie. He's a 5th-year guy. But then he goes to Senior Bowl and he doesn't lose a lot of reps, but then he also doesn't win dominantly a ton. I'm very conflicted about him. And that's for a lot of the reasons I just said, just based off of tape, in terms of snap to snap dominance, he's not close to a top 10 pick in my eyes. But what he did at Senior Bowl will look like a top 10 pick. And then, I don't know. It's just a lot of factors to square there. So I'm conflicted about him. Garrett Wilson, then, the Ohio State wide receiver, is the other one because, man, he's small. He's 6 foot 183 is not prototype size by any means, but the talent is off the charts. Just pure receiving talent. He's the most talented guy in this class. I stand by that. But then when guys get his hands on him, it's typically the type I don't go for is the guy who's struggling when defenders get their hands on him, and that's Garrett Wilson. At the line of scrimmage, along his routes, if he's got a guy in his hip pocket, he's not near the same and does not win with physicality whatsoever. But damn, what he could be in 2 or 3 years, I still believe in. But I go back and forth, watch his tape, just being talent's there, the receiving ability's there, but that physicality is just going to show up more at the next level. So I don't know exactly what to do with them. I think it's why Drake London, wide receiver 1, I just feel more comfortable knowing what he'll be at the next level.
I thought your answer was going to be maybe Trayvon Walker, because I think that's one where I'm very conflicted, right? I mean, Mojo has him going number 1 overall. Yeah. I think he's a guy that's being consistently now mocked inside the top 6 picks. And before the combine, we were even talking about him as a top 15 player. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even there. So the combine continues to. I mean, when a guy comes in and tests as well as Trayvon Walker does, immediately it vaults him up boards if you didn't, if your film grade on him or your tape grade on him wasn't super high, which is obviously what you leaned on when you first put this projection together. And then you find out he's this insane athlete and you have to bump him up, right? You have to, you don't find out he's an insane athlete. You saw that on tape, but he was just raw. He was not productive. He was not winning as a pass rusher as other pass rushers in this class have won. Not even as good as Jermaine Johnson was. Not as good as obviously Aiden and Kayvon Thibodeau were in terms of production. So I do think I'm conflicted there. And I think that's something that we have to continue to iron out, right? The why, diving into why a player's film grade is not requisite to his combine performance is super important. And if that could be a combination of things. 1, you just don't know what you're looking at. 2, it's there, why he's not showing up in film could be practice or whatever. That's super important. You can't just throw it out the window. You can't be oh my God, he's an insane athlete, top 10 player. You have to do kind of do some either self-reflection or just further research on why those don't match up. So I do think I'm conflicted on Trayvon Walker. Tyler Fritz on Apple Podcasts. Why wouldn't you want the Commanders to go receiver at 11? Your thoughts?
I was a Diami believer. I am a Diami believer. Diami Brown, their 3rd round pick from last year. So you have Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Diami Brown. I'm not saying don't go receiver whatsoever, but that's a good receiving core, in my opinion. And now, yeah, if you go, I don't know, Terry McLaurin, Jameson Williams, Curtis Samuel, okay, that's a lot of speed. That's 3-4-3 guys on the field at the same time. Sure, I'm not going to argue if they do go that route, but it's a very strong class at a number of other positions to where I might just lean elsewhere. But should the board shake out to where, wide receivers, you got your choice of wide receiver 1 here in this class? Maybe I would pull the trigger.
I saw someone on Twitter highlighting that Washington was very much in attendance and talking to both Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson at the Ohio State Pro Day. I wonder if they do lock into one of those guys, whether it's Olave or Garrett Wilson at 11, if they are available, especially if Drake London is wide receiver 1. I could see that. I could definitely see that. This is from Mad Matty 202. If Hamilton falls to 14, no. There's no way he falls to 14. We need help if Kyle Hamilton falls to 14. The world need help.
Don't be there's no way that he falls.
I'm not saying no way. I'm not saying no way.
You did say no way.
Okay, I'm going to take back what I said about no way. I'm taking it back. Kyle Hamilton's prop on DraftKings Sportsbook is 6.5. If you want to bet him going to 14 and falling that far, you can bet over 6.5 at plus 110. Bet it. I'm not betting over 6.5. I'm not. I don't think he falls that far. Like, I don't understand how he falls past the 2 Giants teams with 2 picks. I think 10 is his floor. Has to be. And if he gets past the Jets at 10, that's insane. And
I think the other thing about Hamilton, what I was going to kind of say to the Ravens question of, yes, take him, even with other safeties on that roster, is that, I mean, he could do a lot of different things in your defense. Like, he could be your weak side linebacker if you want. He could be your slot corner if you want. Like, he can play a lot of different roles to where no team's going to be like, no, we have none of these teams in the top 10. None of these teams drafted before the Ravens are going to be like, we don't need another safety. We don't need a guy like Kyle Hamilton on our team. Everyone's going to have him on their board rated highly. So if teams really do go, hey, best player available, that's our mantra. That's what we believe in. Kyle Hamilton's going prior to 14.
If he falls that far, we'll be talking about that fall similar to how we talked about Derwin James, right? Where, in my opinion, no one can explain how Derwin James fell to 17 in that draft. Yeah, no one can explain. I think if Hamilton falls to 14, I think we'll be having similar discourse. This is from Gator Ryan Trainer. Kwesi seems like an analytical guy, but some of the moves just don't seem like it with extending Kirk Cousins, restructuring Adam Thielen, and not filling needs in free agency. What do you think?
I say it's too early on to say exactly. And now when you have like the Kirk Cousins thing, the whole quarterback position there sometimes is not the decision of a GM, can be handed down from ownership to say, hey, we're not going to let a guy like Kirk, if we can re-sign Kirk Cousins, we're going to do so. We're not going, because that gives you a floor. As much as you could shit on Kirk Cousins, and Eric Eager, data scientist here at PFF, makes it his life goal to shit on Kirk Cousins as much as possible. But as much as you can, he's still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He still gives you a floor of not picking the top 5, not picking in the top 10. Like, he gives you some semblance of competency on the offensive side of the ball. So I think it's too early to really say whether he is an analytics guy or not. I will say that I expected more of a cap shedding, realizing that you're just not a good roster right now, to try to play for fewer moves to play for this year and more to play for the future. Like the Adam Thielen restructure, I actually searched a while to try to find. I assume it was like a bonus push, like a lot of restructures are, but maybe they did actually take down some of his money because he was slated to make $16 million or count $16 million against the cap this year with $12.5 million salary. So I couldn't actually find details on that. If it was just taking down his actual money instead of so that they didn't have to cut him, then that's good. That's a good thing. But if it was just a bonus push into the future to make his cap hits bigger in the future, I think those are not moves I would have made. And for this team, signing free agents, and I believe they didn't really go out and sign a ton. Darius Smith probably being their biggest money one. I just didn't think this was the year, but I don't know, TBD. I also wanted to share this because I thought this was funny. When I did go searching for the details of Adam Thielen's restructure, the headline I found for this article was Adam Thielen's restructured deal is the latest example of the Vikings running it back.
Running it back from what?
Yeah.
What are you running it back? What are you running back? What site was that?
Running back 7 and 10.
I'm on it. Running it back.
Vikings. I believe it was a fan site.
It was a site. Yeah. That's fine. I need to read the lead. Wasn't very clear. There's no rebuilding happening in Minnesota. So maybe it's just maybe the headline's a little bit misleading. They're not saying like running it back. They're saying like, hey, we're not rebuilding. We're not going to blow it up.
Everyone wants to say run it back, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone wants to.
This is from Gator DMAC. Are there teams that should go after Nakobe Dean in the first based on scheme fit?
So I've said he's not a fit for everybody in terms of what they're looking for, but for most defenses, he could play middle linebacker. He played weak side linebacker. I don't think while he's undersized, he doesn't lack the physicality you would normally expect from like a middle linebacker. So I'm not particularly, it's just more teams who covet bigger linebackers to begin with. So I'm not sure there's a particular scheme or whatnot that he's better for because he is so instinctive and he is so talented. So teams I'd highlight as potential landing spots in the first round: Philly, Dallas, Detroit, to me, be the three that make the most sense. I honestly can't see a ton of teams towards the back end of the first round going that route. That's why I had him dropping out of the first round altogether, because
could see Detroit at 32.
Yeah, that's what. So those three teams I would highlight as landing spots if he does go in the first.
Nerds like beer too. What should the Falcons do in the draft? What can Kansas State do to run it back? No, to get back to the top of the Big 12. Quinn deserves a raise. I agree. Quinn deserves a raise.
Thank you.
Quinn deserves a raise. What can Kansas State do to get it back, to run it back in the Big 12? And what should the Falcons do in the draft?
I've been banging the table for either Sauce Gardner or Derek Stingley to the Falcons. Pair him with A.J. Terrell. Pair them with A.J. Terrell. Either one. Either will do. And you're Gucci. Your money. That's a sick cornerback duo for, could be a decade if you wanted to. So that's where I'd go. Now, where will they go? Big TBD. But the whole wide receiver need thing, to me, Gardner and Stingley, and even McDuffie, but I would highlight those two because they're going to be on the board and make, I think, just more sense for the Falcons defense. Gardner and Stingley are more rare. I always do that. More rare.
I think it's rarer. Because you get the rarest.
See, with my speech impediment, though, I don't even want to say rarer.
Say it again.
Rarer.
With
those two are more rare than the wide receiver you're going to get at 8. Like Drake London's of the world, Garrett Wilson's of the world. Not to say they come out every year, because there have been years they don't. But you can find a guy like that closer to that in the second round than you can closer to Stingley or Gardner in the second round. So that's where I'd go. And then Kansas State, to get back to the top of the Big 12, O-line, baby. Build up that O-line. Wisconsin method. Come out O-line factory. They already have a pretty good track record in terms of guys in the NFL. It's got to continue.
Yeah.
And you also got to wait till Oklahoma leaves. He goes to the SEC.
That's fair. Todd is a boy. This guy does a question every week. Get on his ass. Got to find him. He's cheating the system. Is Urban Meyer the worst head coach ever? I do like the question, though.
Technically, he's not by win percentage. But by tenure and
perception,
has to be, right?
Has to be.
What about Hugh Jackson, though? I pulled him up. 205.
Hugh Jackson, though, was given way too long of a leash, right?
But he was, that was a clown show, too.
It was.
He was a clown show in Oakland, too. He was a head coach in Oakland for a bit.
205 career win percentage, 33 games under 500.
And I do think the Hard Knocks with Hugh, from a perception standpoint, did not help him.
That was a great Hard Knocks. Is there
needs to, if the Jags were on Hard Knocks last year, we got to see
Hugh
Urban
wasn't
Meyer just kicking the
malicious
hell
like
out of
Urban,
everybody.
Hughes didn't have a possible pending workplace harassment.
Yeah, he
suit
wasn't
on
a
his
dick
hands,
like Urban Meyer.
you know. Whereas Urban might be costing them money, and
I also think
wrongful
it
termination
matters
claims.
too. Like Urban Meyer's expectations going in were like here, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Urban's coming into the Jags. We're winning Super Bowls, and we got Trevor Lawrence. Let's go!" And then it was a meteor, dude. The dinosaurs were jealous at how fast this thing was coming down. It was a disaster, like literally every step of the way. Starting with like the Travis Etienne stuff. Remember when he was like taking Tebow for a couple fucking drinks of coffee to see if he'd play tight end?
Tebow doesn't even register as one of the worst decisions he made.
Well, he only played a handful of preseason games.
Yeah.
Remember when Tebow's walking down? He's walking into practice for the Jags. He's got his gloves on already, and there was like a couple of veteran NFL players like, "Dude, you put your gloves on that early. You're a scrub." Tebow just catching strays. All right.
Lead.
This is from BS525. Should the Giants take an offensive tackle at 5 or 7? I think 5. If they're going to take an offensive tackle, it's going to probably have to be 5, unless Mojo's mocking this because Ike Ekwonu fell to 11.
Yes. 5. And I would recommend doing so as well, because I'd be floored if either Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu or Charles Cross isn't there. So
Yeah. Fair enough. Shall we get to trivia?
yes,
Let's
please.
do trivia. So I had another idea for trivia too. Maybe not this week, but do you know? So Wordle we play Wordle. You and I play Wordle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a basketball version called Poeltl, Poeltl, where you have to guess basketball players, and they give you like a series of ways to guess basketball players. Now there's a football version called Weddle. So you guess a player in the NFL, and they give you the categories are team, division, position, height, age, and jersey number. And it'll give you like higher or lower on the jersey number, higher or lower on the age. It'll be yellow if you got the conference right for the division. It'll be green, obviously, if you get the division right. It'll be yellow. It'll be green if you get the position right, all that stuff, team, all that stuff. I do think we should start playing this on the trivia when we're moving forward. Weddle. I think it could be kind of sick. Not today, because I don't think Quinn has it ready back there. But I think moving forward, I think it could be kind of cool.
Yep, I do not have that ready. I never even heard of it till just now.
No, someone sent it in the Slack today, in the social Slack
That could
today.
be sick, though.
That could be fun.
Yeah. I only have one question today. It's from our boy Obi, Observer Man 24 on Twitter. He's always sending us questions. So
Lovely.
thank you, Obi.
He's no Perk Angel, but I like him.
No, but he rose to the occasion today, and he asks, since 2017, which colleges have had multiple players picked inside of the top 10? And I wrote down there at the bottom 11 schools. I miscalculated. It's 10.
Okay.
So this is a little bit longer. This works out. We have one, but it might take a while.
God.
All right.
This is going to be tough.
Ohio State did it.
Ohio
in
State's
year.
one, yes.
Bama has to be on there.
Alabama's one, yes. So you got 2 of 10.
LSU.
LSU, yep, 3.
All right. Oklahoma had 2 quarterbacks go.
Yep, 4.
Since 2017.
This is tough.
It's a little tough.
Since 2017.
Yeah, don't overthink this.
Yeah. I think we just got big dogs.
Yeah. There's some big schools in here.
I'm going to guess Texas.
No, not Texas.
Texas has been kind of
stunk
ass
since
lately.
2017.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I was just thinking of big schools.
Georgia.
Georgia, yeah. That's 5. 4 or 5.
Clemson.
Clemson's in there, yes, sir.
Hold on.
Michigan.
No Michigan.
Go blue.
He's got 4 left.
Man, this is tough.
Florida.
Florida's in there, yeah.
Nice.
3 left.
Come on, Michael. Figure it out.
Any Pac-12 schools?
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Notre Dame's in there.
Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey.
The two left, actually, are
Ross.
Pac-12 schools.
USC,
No. Nerd school.
Stanford, and then
Pac-12.
UCLA.
No.
Come on, you can't just be throwing them out there. You got to have a idea.
That's fair. Oh, I have a guess. Oregon.
Can you name it?
Oregon. Yeah.
That's
Nailed
what I was
it.
thinking of. I just couldn't think of the players.
Bang! That was kind of
Who were
rough, but I'll take it. Appreciate the trivia. Do you have a know your co-host?
And
DeForest Buckner? No, he was probably like
he was
2016.
2016.
Herbo Man.
Herbo.
Oh, yeah. I'm an idiot.
We're dumb.
Yeah, that was dumb of me.
That's going to do it for this episode, huh?
Yeah.
Next time we'll play Weddle. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Going to be answering every single question from Thursday, March 24 to the day one of the NFL draft. Until next time, Asa Gale, Mike Renner, Tailgate.